The question was, would I request that businesses stay closed tomorrow to give extra time to clean up? I think businesses, owners have to use common sense, just like we said yesterday. People need to use common sense before leaving their house, because this is a very dangerous situation, which is life-threatening. If there truly is no need to be open, I would suggest not being open. In the areas where there are driving bans, the individuals who may be your employees cannot get to work. So please understand that if they do not get to work, and an employee in Tonawanda or employer in Tonawanda, because an individual may live in Hamburg, they should not be taking it out on the employee, because that individual truthfully is banned from going to work. So I'm not saying that every business should be closed, but I think every business owner has got to take a common sense approach to determine whether it's in their best interest to be open, but more importantly, whether it's in their employees' best interest to be traveling in this weather.
Mr. Beauregard, can you talk again about the misdemeanor you said people could be charged with if they're driving in these banned areas?
Well, it's up to each police department where a state of emergency has been declared if they want to ticket individuals. There is the possibility that an individual could be ticketed, and potentially, if they are causing problems, ticketed with up to a misdemeanor. It's up to the police departments to make that determination. I have not made that determination. If someone seems to be a habitual driver in the streets, they theoretically are putting the public and other people at risk. And the police could not only tell them to get off the road, but they could give them a ticket.
What about the Sabres game tonight? Would you recommend that they play postpone?
I'm not going to make a determination whether the Sabres play. I remember many, many years ago there was a snowstorm in which the Sabres played, I think, the Los Angeles Kings, and there were only like 1,000 people that attended the game. It's my understanding the Carolina Hurricanes are in town. If the NHL decides to go with the game, maybe they'll play the game, but I don't necessarily recommend people driving downtown at this point.
Did Governor Cuomo assure that state aid is on the way, and how much is so?
Well, when I spoke to the governor, it was yesterday. I've not talked to him today. He said that the state would be here to assist Erie County. I know we've talked to the Department of Transportation. Joe McDonald, the Department of Transportation Commissioner, has been in touch with our office and is stating that they are actually moving equipment from other parts of New York State here to help clear snow. Remember, there are a number of state roads that are closed at this point, not just the Thruway, but the 219, the 400, those are state roads. And it's my understanding the Department of Transportation is moving equipment to help clean those roads and other roads. Route 62 is a good example. That is a state road that goes through many municipalities in the southern part of Erie County. That a lot of, usually the municipalities themselves might plow, but because of the difficulties in plowing, the state's going to come in and help with some of those roads as well.
Do you know why some of the
evaluate the communities to see, about these driving bans? How often do you talk?
We are, well, we're constantly talking with them in the Emergency Operations Center here. I think I probably could turn it over to Greg Butcher and talk a little more. I've talked to a few supervisors and mayors. Truthfully, in general, I've said if you need issues or assistance, let us know. I don't want to interfere with what you're dealing with. Just recently, I spoke with the mayor of Lackawanna, Jeff Szymanski, and he's still saying that as soon as they clear the snow off, the snow just falls again, as Lackawanna seems to be in the eye of the storm. But we are in constant contact, and I'll turn it over to Greg Butcher, who can tell you a little bit more about the communications they've had with the municipalities.
We're in constant communications with all the municipalities that are affected, and even those that aren't, and the offerings that they have for resources to those other municipalities. I can cite that in the city of Lackawanna, we were able to obtain state resources that were able to assist with clearing some of Abbott Road, and they're going to continue to assist with clearing that on a regular basis as Lackawanna, Hamburg, Blaisdell are in the middle of what continues to be that center of the shift point. So we're going to continue to see that up to 2-inch fall of snow for possibly the next 24 hours.
But the communities make the determination.
The communities make the determination. That's a rule in New York State. It's a home rule state. We are there to coordinate and assist with the assets and resources needed.
Do you know why some of the gates to the Thruway weren't closed? I don't know who could best answer that.
That was a decision made by the New York State Thruway Authority, and I can't answer it.
Okay, and also to clarify, are plows out right now, or are you holding them back until?
I can't speak for all of the other municipalities, and Commissioner Lafredo may be able to, but we do have plows on the road.
Okay, can you guys answer any questions about the Sabres game tonight? People have been asking. I've been in contact with some officials there. Do you have any kind of say if the Sabres game is going to go on, if there are these travel bans and then people might drive?
I was just asked that question, and it's my understanding the Carolina Hurricanes are in town. It's up to the NHL to make a determination whether they're going to call the game or not. It is in the city of Buffalo, as Greg Butcher just noted, the city actually has the power to declare whether there's a driving ban or not, and as it stands right now, there is not a driving ban in the city of Buffalo. I would not recommend individuals in some of these key areas to be trying to come downtown to attend a Sabres game. And I am worried that later in the day, even though we're expecting the bands to move out of Buffalo by 4 o'clock, that the city of Buffalo, which only had a couple inches of snow in the last 12 hours, will have a lot more inches of snow, which will need to be plowed. It's the NHL's discretion as to whether they're going to call the game. It's my understanding they have the visiting team here, so they may want to go ahead with the game, but they may also want to go ahead with the game without fans present. It is bitter cold out there, and people need to understand that if you do go out there, you do take your own life at risk if you get stuck on the side of the road in one of these very bad bands. And even if you're not in a snow band, I think everyone who's gone outside today, if they have gone outside, realizes the bitter cold. I saw that temperatures have dropped in some areas of Erie County in the last couple hours to where they're back below zero and the wind chills are minus 20 and below. People need to seriously think about whether it's appropriate to go outside in these situations. And we remind everybody, if you've got pets, don't let them out there for any period longer than they need to be, because they can get frostbite too. So we just want people to exercise caution, simple as that. And we're going to continue to monitor it. We're going to have another internal conference call amongst the individuals associated with the county that are here and other parts of county services later this afternoon. We're going to constantly keep the public updated as to current conditions. As I've stated, the state of emergency is still in effect. It will be in effect until a subsequent order rescinds it. There is not a driving ban in Erie County, but a recommendation for no unnecessary travel. There are driving bans throughout many municipalities in the south towns. Those will continue, and we are in constant communication, direct communication with emergency managers, as well as elected officials, supervisors, mayors of many of the communities that have been hit by this storm. And we're just going to have to ride it out, folks, and just be smart. Simple as that.
We've already had more snow than normal in the past couple of years. And now on top of this, we have this blizzard. Does the county have enough resources to cover the storm cleanup and to pay for overtime costs, that sort of thing?
The county definitely has enough resources to pay for it. We certainly have gotten more snow in the last month than we had in previous winters, in the last few winters, but certainly not like we had them in the past. I was talking with someone yesterday. This is very similar to the winter storms I remember when I was younger, and a lot of us were younger, where it seemed like it snowed a lot. It's a bad one out there, and I think people just need to understand we've had some mild winters, and maybe people take it a little easy, thinking that they don't have to worry about it. Well, I'm not afraid of 3 feet of snow. I don't think anybody here, we know about 3 feet of snow. We can handle that. That's not the problem. It's 3 feet of snow with 30-mile-an-hour winds, sub-zero temperatures, whiteout conditions where you can't see more than a couple feet in front of the windshield of a vehicle. And I'm telling you, I talked to individuals last night who drove through it, and they were saying it's the worst driving experience I've had in the last 25 years. So if you don't need to be in it, you shouldn't be out there.
Are the state plows here, and how much equipment is here?
The state DOT has plows on the roads right now. They, of course, have a number of barns in the area. So the state DOT plows are out as we speak, taking care of state routes. My understanding is the state Department of Transportation and Joe McDonald, the commissioner, has pledged that they will try to bring in more equipment, and they are bringing that in right now. But I don't want people to assume that plows are not on the roads. They are on the roads. The difficulty is in the area, the sort of the eye of the storm, where you just can't see. And in that situation, even plow drivers, I'll give you an example, because we just came in from the Rath building down the 190 to the Interstate 90, getting on where the 190 and the 90 meet, and then just taking it over to William Street. Took much longer than it should have, and along the side of the road was a plow for the state Thruway authority, but it was going very slowly because it needed to go very slowly because it was so difficult to see.
Do you know of any serious injuries? No?
I can't answer that question. I don't know.
What about the ER rooms? Are they busier than usual?
I can't speak about the busier than usual. I mean, the hospitals do have some staffing shortages because the nurses in the south towns may have problems getting into work, but all the emergency departments are open for business, Many clinics and physicians' offices are closed, so if people have appointments, scheduled appointments, they should call the offices to see if they should come in or not. But again, I know many of the hospitals and many physicians' offices have closed for regular business. So again, if you're not critically ill, stay at home and have it wait a day. Also, in terms of dialysis, people who need dialysis, the hospitals are being able to handle that. So, people should call their provider or the hospitals, and they'll be able to get taken care of.
Well, you don't have any indication from the ERs from Clyda or Catholic Health about if they're busier than usual or ACMC for that matter?
I haven't heard reports. I haven't heard reports to that effect. Thanks.
Trooper, can we get a update on roads beyond Erie County? What are you seeing out on the Thruway and beyond the Buffalo immediate area?
Great, thank you. As we already talked about here today, and Greg Butcher, we are in constant communication with the Thruway personnel. They have stood up their command post for the Thruway over on Cayuga. So we sit in on their conference calls. They likewise sit in on ours, and we're sharing information. As the county executive has already said, the weather is shifting continuously in about a 2-mile up and down flow. So right now, they have that soft closure on the freeway section. People shouldn't be out there. However, they're clearing that roadway, and they're going to try to combat that ice and packed snow that's out there. Visibility is bad. From Lackawanna down to the PA line, we have some intense snow that's going on with very, very bad visibility. So that is a closure. They're not allowed to get on, and we all know about that. We're working in collaboration with the Sheriff's Department. We have, we believe, significant and ample and adequate patrols out on the roads who are able to give us feedback. And it's clearing in certain areas like in Boston right now. However, in Hamburg and Eden, they're still getting hit very hard. So we're attacking these roads, making sure there's no stranded DVs at this time, and methodically working right through it along with the plows and everybody else in this emergency.
Can you give us an update on the trooper accident from overnight?
I don't know the exact status of the trooper. I do know that he's being held overnight at ECMC. That trooper was struck in a motor vehicle accident last night just before midnight around Ridge Road at the Interstate 90. So he has sustained some injuries. They're not very serious, I don't believe, at this time. However, he is assigned to Troop T, which is the Thruway, and I unfortunately don't have an exact status of his injuries. But them are the dangers that the county executive is talking about. We've been fortunate that I think that a lot of people have heeded the bans, the warnings, and the advisories. But all it takes is one example, like the troop car getting hit, and we know how serious it can get. And we're hoping that people heed the warnings, and because it's going to be, even when the snowfall still is falling 1 inch to 2 inches an hour now, there's going to be some significant time to still clean that up after the winds die down a little bit and that temperature and that snow. So again, from the state police, thanks to the public, thanks to all our partners here that we're working with, the command structure and the cooperation is outstanding, and we're just going to hopefully keep doing our part. So, thank you.
And if I can just follow up on that, the time that trooper was struck was when a driving ban was in effect in Lackawanna and West Seneca. That individual who was driving should not have been on the road. And it's just a perfect example of why you shouldn't be on the road. The trooper was trying to protect and keep people off of the 219, and the vehicle was struck by someone who was on the road who shouldn't have been on the road. So we ask people, please heed these bans. They're there for your own safety. If there are no other questions, the organization